This is pro wrestling's original MTV star, Rory Fox, and you're listening to the Slam Fam Wrestling Network. Welcome to the family. Send me my money via PayPal.
Getting geared up for 3XW Over the Top 8 on Friday, May 11th at the American Legion in Des Moines, Iowa. And this card could not be more stacked. I am Margaret Adelle here with the 7-star mind, Alex McCarthy. How are you doing tonight, Alex?
I'm doing fine, and I just want to start out by saying that a lot of people have seen my promo on the internet, on Twitter and Facebook and everything like that. But don't underestimate me. I am a journalist. I can be objective. I'm always scouting. I see the potential in all talent. So anybody that assumes that I'm going to be biased or lewd or disrespectful to this beautiful woman clearly doesn't understand that I am, in fact, a gentleman. I am respectful. And if you don't understand that, it's because you are far less educated than I am.
All right, let's jump right into it. So, first up, we have a singles match: Moondog Bernard versus Sentai. Now, this is a match that's
Moondog Bernard with the 7-star mind, Alex McCarthy.
Yes, one of your clients coming
My
out
client.
To face Sentai, who you've had some, let's call it, dealings with.
Yeah, you know, Sentai, we just beat him up mostly because we could, and now he has the nerve to come back and try to challenge us, and I'm really going to be objective for most of the show here, but this one is where I gotta say, Sentai, I said it before, I'll say it again, it is a good thing that you wear a mask, because when we're done putting the beating on you, you're not going to want to show your face in Des Moines, in Iowa, or in the United States. You better hop on the next boat back to Thailand, because you are not going to wrestle again after we're done with you.
So we have that to look forward to. Next up, we have a tag team match: Mike Sydal and Luke Langley versus the Bayside Bruisers, JC Slater and Robert Storm. Now, the Bayside Bruisers had a pretty good showing during the benefit show 3XW had a while back. I believe JC Slater broke 3 ceiling tiles in 3 different matches. That's got to be a new record. I'm surprised they let us back in. So what do you think about this tag match?
Well, you know what? I think, I could correct me if I'm wrong, the Bayside Bruisers have had a little bit of turmoil, a little bit of tension lately. They've been a little bit on the rocks.
Definitely. JC Slater has shown some tension, some anger towards his teammate, Robert Storm. I wouldn't be surprised if they had some kind of out-and-out fight, but it's hard to say that they'll actually break up. I mean, they've got that school spirit running through their veins. I think they can pull through.
Well, I will say, I'm trying to be objective. I will say Bayside, not as great as the 7-Star Mind Academy, which you can sign up for, get in those DMs. But this is the other thing, the team of Luke Langley and Mike Sydal. You know, it's Mike Sydal we're familiar with. If you're a fan of NWL, he was a wrestler there, and I'm ashamed I cannot think of what his name was in NWL right now, but he was the yogi. And he's very in touch with his spirituality and himself. He's very leveled individual, practices yoga. Obviously, the brother of former WWE superstar Evan Bourne, Matt Sydal, And I'm not familiar with Luke Langley at all, but I think, it's kind of a variable for me because I think if Bayside can work together, they can use that school spirit and that tag team cohesion of being a team to pick up the victory. But if they can't, I think the experience of Mike Sydal and the unknown variable of Luke Langley, I could really see this one going either way.
Oh, most definitely. Now, next up, a rather interesting match, the Tinsel title match. A 2-on-1 El Jefe Barbosa with JD Riggs and Skylar Pierce versus Maddog McDowell. So
I'll let you talk about this one.
Barbosa, I have gotten the pleasure of working a commentary table with him, but he is very determined to drop this Tinsel title. For those of you who don't know, this is a title that you don't want. It's not looking its best. I believe it is still covered in that tinsel from Christmas time. And he can only lose it, i.e. get rid of it, if he wins the match. Now, he has tried multiple times and failed multiple times. He has a habit of attempting to bribe his opponents. That has not really helped him so far. But he has JD Riggs and Skylar Pierce with him this time, really trying to get it. Although that does beg the question, if JD Riggs is the one to pin or submit Maddog McDowell, does that count as a win for Barbosa?
That would be a great question for Commissioner Todd Countryman. I'm not sure what the technicalities are for the Tinsel title. Does Chefe indeed have to pin someone or make them submit in order to retain the title? But you know Maddog McDowell, Margaret. You've seen him in action before, and he is a powerhouse. He is a monster. I don't even think that's a discussion. I think Chefe Barbosa, JD Riggs, I'm predicting the big dog to come out on top, the Maddog, and he also has the 3XW crowd behind him, which, if you don't have the 7-Star Mind Academy behind you, the 3XW crowd, pretty good as well.
Indeed. I'll be interested to see who walks out with the least wanted title in 3XW. Next up, we have a match of Supafli J. Fowler versus Delicious Devin Carter. Now, Supafli has been having an off time in 3X lately. He lost a mask versus title match against Rory Fox and was forcibly unmasked in front of the 3XW crowd, and that was quite a sight to see. And as a result, we've seen him getting a little bit more aggressive in the ring. And Delicious Devin Carter, who very much appreciates the finer things in life, shall we say, maybe not ready for that aggression. I think Supafli may keep the ball rolling and keep the victories coming after what was for him what had to be a humiliating loss before.
And I'll say this, Margaret, Delicious Devin Carter is also a member of Rory Fox's honor roll, along with JT Energy and Flawless Brandon Wallace. So I'll say this, he doesn't want to lose that spot. He wants to keep that spot in the honor roll, one of the most prestigious stables in 3XW, probably one of the most prestigious stables in 3XW history. He wants to keep that spot. He knows he has to beat Jay Fowler to keep that spot. Jay Fowler is a man on a mission. He wants to defeat every member of the honor roll, and to do that, he's got to start with the biggest member of the honor roll, Delicious Devin Carter. Can he do it? I don't know.
Well, speaking of the honor roll, up next we have a singles match, JT Energy versus Chainsaw King. Now, these two have interesting history, let's call it. I believe there was a scramble match a while back where, how do I put this nicely? I'm just going to say it. Chainsaw King stuck his thumb in JT Energy's posterior.
Thumb in the bum.
Yep, in the middle of the ring, in the middle of the match. So they have a interesting background, and I believe that level of humiliation will come back, maybe fuel JT Energy and his anger towards Chainsaw King. However, the King is a formidable opponent. Very, very big and very aggressive, and has a historic almost history or run with 3XW. So it'll be interesting to see what wins, the experience or the hatred.
Yeah, that's a very valid point. Chainsaw King wants to beat JT Energy. And, one thing that we need to talk about at this show is the over-the-top gauntlet, the Gauntlet for the Gold, which we will talk about. It's the main event. But think about a guy like Chainsaw King, a guy like Supafli, Jay Fowler. These guys are enemies of the honor roll. These guys have a lot of beef with the honor roll, a lot of beef with Rory Fox. They would love nothing more than to put a member of the honor roll out of commission before that Gauntlet for the Gold match to increase their chances, because the honor roll is going to work together. They're going to be on the same page.
I believe we will probably see the honor roll as a group come out to support their own a couple times, I would say several times. But up next, we have the 3XW Pure Wrestling Championship.
I guess I was done talking about that one. That's fine. But JT Energy, I was just going to say, JT Energy feels like he can do no wrong in 3XW right now. He's so hot. He's one of the hot, most up-and-coming stars in the honor roll in 3XW. And I will be astonished if JT Energy makes it to the end of 2018 in 3XW without holding some championship gold, if not the 3XW Heavyweight Championship itself. Now we may move on. Sorry for interrupting you.
All right. The 3XW Pure Wrestling Championship is up next. Darin Corbin, that is Darin Corbin, versus Jaden Roller. Jaden Roller has always been a bit of a character for me. Bright and flamboyant in the way of Delicious Devin Carter, and willing to pull out some sly moves to do whatever it takes to win. Now, Darin Corbin, I'll admit I've heard of him, but I can't say I know too much about him. Would you be able to fill that in?
Yeah, absolutely. Out of the 7-Star Mind. He is mostly known for his work in Minnesota, running buddy of Arik Cannon, the Anarchist. He's a Minnesota guy. I've never actually seen him compete, but I know one time was part of I believe the Starlight Express, and I know that he's a very formidable competitor, and he is coming down from Minnesota, and he wants to come down victorious. He's no stranger to 3XW. Not sure if he's ever met Jaden Roller in the ring, but he would love to win that 3XW gold this Friday night, and I think he may have all the tools to do it.
All right. Well, speaking of the Anarchist Arik Cannon, he's coming up next against Johnny Ruckus. Now, Arik Cannon, a.k.a. A. Brian Kendrick, has had a very fortunate couple of years coming up here, and he's been around to a lot of different places, from 3XW to Funky Monkey to a guest spot on WWE. However, Johnny Ruckus, one half of Midwest Blood, I'm a huge fan of that tag team. Little sad to see Lars won't be on the card. Maybe he'll come out with him. I don't know.
I believe Lars is in the Gauntlet. I could be wrong.
Oh, good. I always love to see that man in a kilt. It's just lovely.
You know what they say, kill or be killed.
Sure. So, Arik Cannon, definitely known for hard hitting. I mean, he is the Anarchist. You can never tell quite what he's going to do next. Johnny Ruckus, however, doesn't go down without a fight. Very edgy. Man can take the pain of how many tattoos has he got? Killer tattoo artist. I still got to get one from him. But I'd be interested in that match to see if Johnny Ruckus can still pull it out on his own after being such a formidable tag team. And it's always great to see Arik Cannon come back wherever he pops up in the Midwest. Do you have any notes on that before we get to our big...
Absolutely, I do. I absolutely do. Let's talk about this. Arik Cannon coming in, having been in WWE, having been WrestlePalooza, his promotion up in Minnesota, big promotion up in the Twin Cities. He is a name in Midwest Wrestling. He's a big name in Midwest Wrestling. And I think, without a shadow of a doubt, this is 3XW management saying to Johnny Ruckus, okay, you've gone out to Rockstar Pro, You're training now with the Chris brothers, the Rockstar Pro Academy. You are upping your game. You're showing you are doing everything you can to raise your stock in professional wrestling. Because that's what you do when you want to get better. You join an academy, just saying. And Johnny Ruckus has done that. And I think this is his opportunity to say, I belong in these main event situations. Johnny Ruckus still has a shot at Rory Fox's 3XW Heavyweight Championship. He earned that back in December.
Oh,
in
yes.
the gifts match. The presents on a pole, whatever that was called. I don't remember. But Johnny Ruckus earned that opportunity. And now it's his opportunity to prove he belongs, to prove he is worthy of winning that championship. He wants to beat a guy like Arik Cannon, because if you're a guy like Johnny Ruckus and you beat a guy like Arik Cannon's going to talk about you. When Arik Cannon is wrestling 4-5 times a week all over the United States, possibly outside of the United States. I don't know the man's schedule, but he's going to say, Des Moines, Iowa, Johnny Ruckus gave me a beating. Johnny Ruckus pinned me in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3. You have to believe, Margaret, that if that happened, Arik Cannon is going to be talking. Arik Cannon is going to be telling people about the time he got beat by Johnny Ruckus, and that makes Johnny Ruckus' stock go up. If Johnny Ruckus fails, I think it's going to be a big fall off the ladder. I think he needs to earn Arik Cannon's respect. He needs to show Arik Cannon that he came to play, and I think he needs to get this win to get his name out there and to prove that he is one of the fastest rising stars in Midwest professional wrestling.
I totally agree. But now it is time for our main event. Probably the thing I'm looking forward to the most is the Gauntlet for the Gold. Now, I don't believe we have all of the names that will be in it. We did mention before that Lars Metzger has a shot. But
I believe. I'm not positive.
Or we could check. But look at
a lot of names announced. Maybe if you want to talk a little bit about each one, if you'd like.
Oh, I gotta look down through my notes here. Let's see. We have a second entrant. Oh, good Lord, there's so many. All right. So I'm gonna admit that there's a lot of newcomers in this gauntlet, which promises to bring a lot of pique a lot of curiosity to see all these new faces come in.
Some new faces, some old faces. Margaret, I believe you know about this. The National Wrestling League, which was a full-time promotion for a lot of the big names in the area, recently closed their doors. And when these names became available, Todd Countryman, 3XW Management, hopped on it. They signed a lot of these guys. They wanted to bring some of these great, amazing talents back to 3XW. I'm curious to see what the vibe in the locker room is going to be, because I believe there are some people that aren't feeling so welcoming of these NWL competitors.
It'll definitely be interesting to see how all these guests are received. But first up, we have a guest. The first person to enter the 2018 Gauntlet for the Gold is the wine connoisseur, Niles Plonk.
Niles Plonk, known to 3XW fans as Craig Kieseman. He has competed in 3XW before, even recently. He's a classy guy, an intellectual guy like myself. Interested to see how he raises the stock of 3XW. Interested to see if he's able to be victorious in this gauntlet.
Are you perhaps looking to use the gauntlet to add more clients to your academy?
Absolutely. I'm bringing about 25, 26, 27 applications for the 7-Star Mind Academy. We're going to get some payment plans set up for tuition. I'm looking to come out of this. I think, I'm not making any promises, I think whoever the winner is going to be a member of the 7-Star Mind Academy by the end of the night.
Oh, that's a fairly bold claim. Well, let's look at another possible member of your illustrious academy.
Yeah.
The former NWL champion, the Mile High Magnum, Dakota Draper.
Yeah, Dak Draper, Dakota Draper. Very popular, incredible athlete. I've seen him in NWL. I got the opportunity to ride down to NWL a few months back in September. Very impressed with Dak Draper. What an athlete. Saw him have an incredible match with who 3XW fans know as Bolt Brady in the main event of that NWL show, and he's a very capable athlete.
All right. Next up, not maybe a face that we've seen a lot, but definitely comes from something we know fairly well. The third entrant is a graduate of the Black and Brave Wrestling Academy and NWL alum, Rashid Ali.
Rashid Ali. Ali is money. This is a man, the nicest things in life. He favors the nicest things in life. One half of Top Shelf Entertainment with Everett Connors. If you haven't heard I Am Him, it was the song that they came out with. It was incredible. Margaret, are you familiar with that song, I Am Him, by Everett Connors?
I don't believe I am.
Rashid Ali produced that song, and the man can wrestle. Trained by the Black and Brave, one of the best places to train to wrestle in all the world. He's going to be a top standout in that battle royal.
Well, he's going to have to beat out some of his fellow Black and Brave alums, because up next, the fourth entrant is the filth you can't wash off himself, JT Energy. Now, he is a member of the Honor Roll and will be wrestling on an earlier match. Now, do you think that will affect his performance, having to do multiple matches and perhaps even running out to help his fellow Honor Roll members?
There are a lot of variables in that, Margaret. I think JT Energy, on one hand, there's one train of thought that says, kick Chainsaw King between the legs, take the DQ, save yourself for the Gauntlet. That win is more important. But then when you're a member of an organization like the Honor Roll, and the prize for winning that Gauntlet is a shot at your leader, 3XW champion, Rory Fox, it's very easy for JT Energy to say, I need to take one for the team. I need to wear down Chainsaw as much as I can. It hurts my chances of winning the Gauntlet, but it also hurts his. What do you do?
So you think that there's a chance JT Energy might lessen his own abilities to protect his leader?
I think so. I mean, depending on how Fox has these guys trained, I think it's a possibility.
All right, well, next up, yet another Black and Brave graduate. The fifth entrant in the Gauntlet is the one called Manders, Steve Manders, also known as the Iowa Hawkeye. So he's been around a little bit, but another graduate. Definitely a formidable opponent. Definitely brings some of that former football training into the mix here. Very brute force type. Do you think? Where do you think he stands?
Where do I think Steve Manders stands? Great question. The guy wants a shot. I'd love to have him. I'd love to have Steve Manders in the 7-Star Mind Academy.
Do you think he'd go?
That I don't. I mean, I throw a lot of names out there and I make a lot of offers. I don't want to go into details about business on this podcast because I don't know who's listening. I know that there's thousands of people listening because I'm on this podcast. But I think Steve Manders has a lot of potential. And, I hate to bring it up, but back at the Latino American Heritage Festival back in September in Des Moines, Steve Manders, the Hawkeye, beat Rory Fox in a match where I was Rory Fox's manager. And I know Rory Fox likes to blame me for that, but I just have to say, Steve, you were the better man that night. Can he do it in a Gauntlet? He's a big football player. He's got a big frame. Throw people out. I think he's got a good shot.
All right. Well, next up we have another wrestler that will be doing multiple matches on the card. El Jefe Barbosa will be the sixth entrant. Again, he will have wrestled before for the Tinsel title, or rather to get rid of the Tinsel title. Do you see him being a formidable opponent in the Gauntlet?
No.
I have to say I agree with that.
But I do have a question.
Yes?
If Jefe Barbosa, let's say he comes in later, 26, 27, say the number one entrant's still in there, say they've been worn down for a while, can Jefe Barbosa come in and pin someone, although a pin means nothing in a Gauntlet for the Gold, it's an over-the-top rope battle royal, can he come in and pin someone and make them the Tinsel champion?
Oh, that is a question. Oh, that would, so even if he would lose the match, the Gauntlet, he would still get
rid
what
of
he
the
wanted.
Tinsel title.
That would be a definite great backup plan should he lose his match earlier.
Oh, he's gonna lose his match.
I mean, the 7th entrant in the Gauntlet, formerly a Rebel, a belt collector, and now a Monarch, Jeremy Wyatt. Now he's come around to 3XW before, or so I've been told.
Former 3XW champion, and it used to be one of the top names in 3XW, one of the consistent main event guys in 3XW, one of the guys who sort of carried 3XW for a long time in the probably about 5-6 years ago, definitely before NWL came along. This is a guy who is an instant main event. He's an instant investment for 3XW. He's an instant draw for 3XW. He is a guy who will draw attention to himself, who will gain the interest of the fans. He's definitely in my top 2 or 3 picks to win.
Do you think he has a shot at the whole thing?
Absolutely.
How do you think he would...
No stranger to Rory Fox.
Yeah, so how do you think he would fare against Rory Fox then?
That's hard to say. I think it'd be one hell of a main event.
Definitely. All right, the 8th entrant is the Iceman. Now, again, someone that I have heard of before, but maybe don't know too much about. Definitely looks like an imposing figure. What do you know about the Iceman, Alex?
I know very little. He's got the element of surprise. I know he's no stranger to 3XW, so obviously the longtime 3XW fans here are going to call us on our ignorance. I know he did spend some time in NWL, maybe in a different role, but I know he looks like he's going to bring the experience. I think he's very talented. Good chance. Can't tell you much more about him.
All right, well, I'm pretty sure you can tell me a little bit more about our next entrant. The 9th entrant in the Gauntlet is none other than Starman from Iowa Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. Starman. We saw him in Iowa Championship Wrestling. He is, in fact, a star. A winner is him. Do I think he's going to be a winner in the Gauntlet for the Gold?
Oh, that in this decade?
Hard to say. Hard to say.
But I always love seeing him come out. He's always puts an instant smile on everyone's face. So the 10th entrant is, again, someone who's going to be pulling double duty on the card. Supafli Fowler. Who, as we mentioned before, has a little bit of aggression in him. But it'll be interesting to see if he can pace himself and not get too ahead or too focused on revenge for what happened to him and wanting revenge on the honor roll to make it, to conserve his energy and go far in the Gauntlet. So where do you see him landing, Alex?
Jay Fowler, he's got delicious Devin Carter, he's got the honor roll. Goes back to what I talked about with JT Energy. Can he kick Devin Carter between the legs, give up the win by DQ, or maybe just walk out, take the count out, save his energy, but then he puts himself at greater risk. He can, because in the Gauntlet, the honor roll can legally debilitate him. They can legally team up on him. He'd be better off doing as much damage as he could to Devin Carter earlier in the night, but then he's not going in with a full tank of gas. Hard to say. I can't in good conscience make a prediction.
Yeah, there are definitely some guys that are going to have to make some decisions on whether or not to expend their energy at different places. Now, making his debut in 3X is the Raging Bull Maverick. And again, do not know much about him. I am so excited to see all these new faces on the card, or at least new to me, and see what they're all about. I always love getting to see new talent and new athletes in the ring. Definitely a bigger dude.
You look at that man. A picture says 1,000 words. That man is an athlete. That man is a monster.
He looks like he gives great hugs.
I don't know about that. Maybe bear hugs. Gosh, I cannot imagine what Maverick is going to do in this Gauntlet. I think it's going to be incredible. I think it's going to be brutal. I think he's definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with in this match.
Speaking of brutal, the last known entrant...
we got a couple more, but I'll get those for you. You give me this one.
All right. Oh, Lord, I got to keep up with my notes here. All right, the Midwest MMA sensation and professional wrestler, Anthony Sharkbait Gutierrez. Or Gutierrez. Obviously, MMA background means he's going to go hard, and he's got the ability to be brutal. You always see those wrestlers or those athletes with the MMA background coming in, and they don't mess around. And I don't foresee Sharkbait doing that either. Do you know much about this one, Alex?
I do. I've seen him wrestle in NWL, and I have to say, very impressive. He's got an MMA background, still actively competing in MMA. I believe he had an MMA fight last weekend, and I believe he was victorious. Incredible athlete. But this is what I'm going to say is going to be his disadvantage in a match like this. They don't have gauntlets for the gold in MMA. They don't have tag team matches. They don't have 6-man tag matches. He has been in some of these predicaments in MMA, but in NWL, but not a lot of experience compared to some of these other guys. I think having guys coming at you from every angle, it doesn't matter how tough you are. If 3 dudes pick you up and throw you over the top rope, not much you can do about it.
Oh, most definitely. It's definitely an interesting dynamic for MMA fighters coming in because it is just totally different. And I bet, his opponents in MMA probably were never trying to throw him over the top rope.
Well, there are no ropes. Yeah. You gotta throw somebody out of the cage over the top.
Over the top of the cage.
Yeah, over the top of the cage.
I would watch that.
Yeah, that would make MMA a heck of a lot more interesting. But, a couple other entrants I want to talk about. Brady A. Desire has announced that he will be in the Gauntlet. Not officially announced, but he has put it out there in the Twitter sphere that he's throwing his name in the hat.
Will he be wearing the mask?
Hard to say. Couldn't tell you. He is one half of the 3XW Tag Team Champions. He and his brother Randy.
And found it in managed to get it in a rather clever way. Some double cashing in of various opportunities to get it. So it'll be interesting to see what tactics he uses to his advantage to stay in the Gauntlet.
Yeah, Brady A. Desire. One thing you know about him, he will do whatever it takes to win. Another person that has announced they have thrown their name in the hat is probably the biggest guy in the match, Thunder Lizard.
Ooh.
Thunder Lizard. It might take 29 other guys to pick him up and throw him out. If I'm in this match, I might just say, hey, let's not fight. Let's wait for a Thunder Lizard to come out because it might take all of us to get this boy out of here.
Well, I will say this much. If it only takes 1 or 2 people to throw him out, they will immediately look like champions, although they might have expended all their energy to do that.
That's a variable that a guy like that brings to the match. He really knows how to bring people together, though. Am I right? Because let's all gang up on the big guy, huh? But and then another person that's thrown his name in the hat that has revealed his status in the Gauntlet for the Gold is my client, Moondog Bernard. And Margaret, do you consider yourself a journalist?
In what sense?
Do you want to scoop?
Sure.
Let's just say, okay, hold on. That hillbilly, Ajax Adams, he's going to be in it too. He announced himself, but nobody cares about him. Moondog Bernard will not be the only entrant from the 7-Star Mind Academy. I'm not naming names. I'm not telling you anything beyond that. Moondog Bernard, not the only client of mine in the Gauntlet for the Gold.
All right. Be interesting to see that much. I'm definitely wondering
Who's your pick to win, Margaret?
All of it?
The whole thing.
Ooh. There's so much experience in that. I gotta give it to Raging Bull Maverick. I mean, he just looks like he's ready to come in for the kill.
Wow.
And if anyone can throw Thunder Lizard over by himself.
Margaret picking the Raging Bull Maverick. And my prediction to win is available to you privately via direct message for the price of only $5 on PayPal.
All right, that's about what I expected. All right, so if you want to see all of this go down, see some new faces, some old alum from NWL, as well as some 3XW favorites, and some that are one and the same, head out to the American Legion in Des Moines, Iowa, Friday, May 11th for 3XW Over the Top 8. I'm super excited about this. Alex, how are you feeling going into the show?
I'm feeling great. First time managing a singles match in the Spanish American Legion post, whatever it's called. Doesn't matter, because I'm going to educate everyone in 3XW about what it means to be a member of the 7-Star Mind Academy. We are open for admissions. We are taking applications. And you can find me on social media at OneRealSmartAlex, like the 7-Star Mind Alex McCarthy on Facebook. Get smart.
Thank you for that much. Be sure to follow Slam Fam Wrestling at SlamFamRest, WREST, on Twitter, and Slam Fam Wrestling on Instagram. You can follow me at Margaret_Adelle on Twitter or Instagram. And with that, we will see you at the show.